Young, Book 2, Chapter 3, Section 2-5. Why is Jesus the Messiah? It is because he was born as the historic first fruit of the change of lineage, as was never before seen in history. He is the Son who inherited God's life and lineage based on his love. He represents the new seed of life. That is who Jesus is. That is why we call him God's only begotten Son. He was the begotten Son because he was born as a representative Son who inherited God's love and life from a lineage that had been purified over the course of human history. This makes Jesus different from all the other religious founders in the course of history. Jesus was born as the fruit of the course of changing the lineage, the first person to be born completely centered on the living God. That is why he is the Messiah. Book 2, Chapter 2, Section 1-4. The hope of all people in history has been to receive and attend the true parents. God founded the nation of Israel and the religion of Judaism so that they could receive the Messiah. The Messiah is the true parent. God created Christianity and Christian culture to receive the Lord at his second coming. The returning Lord comes as the true parent and the third Adam.
Anju, right? Anju, thank you very much. So at this time, I'd like to welcome up Pastor Manoj.
Grace boss. so we decided to sing Christmas song even though Christmas is not here yet. But we are in December. From my childhood, in the month of December, we had always, every year, our parish festival. Then we had so many arts and sports competitions, and almost every homes you can see stars everywhere. In our place in India, we don't have socks and wreath, but everywhere we see Christmas stars. And many places they make these Christmas cribs outside home, and it's kind of very, very celebrative mode. And I love that. As being a child, I really enjoyed being cotton candies and all kind of stuff. People make a lot of local sweets and distribute. It was really amazing. And even now also, as soon as December hits, when I listen this Christmas music similar to the first Noel, it somehow, I'm thrilled, and that's amazing. And most importantly, people are very, very excited because for 2000 years, we are celebrating the birth of Jesus. People want to have that feeling of Messiah coming to their life, baby Jesus coming to their life. And that's why the world is excited about that. And now we can see all around here, everyone started buying gifts for Christmas, giving gift, receiving gift, and people are happy. And another thing usually happens during this time period. It's very important thing. Do you know anything happens during this 25 days in this month of December? Are you aware of something? Any answer? Nobody knows something is going on now? More than us, actually, it's in Christianity. Have we ever heard about observing the Advent season with nativity fast? Have any of you heard about that? Oh, only Mr. Anderson. Even morning service also, I was surprised. Not so many people know about that. But in my part of India, it's so big. Around all these 25 days. Are you aware of Lent? Lent happens during the time of Easter, right before Easter. And that's sometimes in 40 days, and in our culture it's 50 days. So for us, the word we say 50 days fast, it's not fast, kind of we have a different word. We say 50 days during Easter, as well as 25 days during Christmas season. It's a kind of very, very similar to Lent. And devout Christians all over the world, Catholics, as well as Episcopalians, Anglicans, and many, many churches, Eastern Orthodox churches, and all these churches very seriously they observe this. And I remember growing up, I didn't really like that, but my parents were very, very strict, and they wouldn't cook any meat or any fish during this time. 25 days just vegetable, and I don't like vegetables so much. So then we are kind of, before that last day of November, we have a very good feast, and then next time we are having feast is on 25th of December. So we kind of wait for that. But that time I didn't really enjoy that so much. Anyway, I'm talking about this because the purpose of that nativity fast is to prepare themselves, prepare everyone to receive Lord Jesus into their life. And people know, during this Christmas time, usually here we have a lot of celebrations, and sometimes Santa Claus overtook Jesus. But in fact, Christmas is a time where we are again trying to renew ourselves internally and receive Jesus into our heart, so that we can go into a new year with that power, with that internal power. And here, during that time, not only food, I remember our parents encouraged us to avoid certain kind of not so much playing around. And also I know sometimes elders used to drink wines and alcohol. They even stopped that during those seasons. And also excessive work also people avoid, so that they get time to focus on their internal life. And by doing this, the expectation that on the 24th of December, they will be prepared well enough so that they can really inherit the love of Jesus. And during those times, they practice giving. And some people even save up that money which they don't spend and give to other people who are in need. And this time is something like that. That's why we always say the season of Christmas is a time of giving. And it's not just celebratory giving, it's giving from our heart, giving from what we saved up by avoiding our pleasures. And that is the time. And during this time, it's really remarkable to think why people do that. Why do people really do? We also do a lot of preparations in our life. And last week, my brother visited our home. He stayed with us 3 days. And my wife started preparing for that several weeks ago. She wanted to make sure that the house will be clean and nothing will be messed up. So even a couple of weeks before, he started kind of telling me and children that don't throw away here and there stuff and keep everything clean, and all kind of, maybe kind of motherly way. Probably you also do that, as especially mothers. When you know that you are going to have a guest, do you prepare yourself? Is that common? I think it is very common. So that when our guests come, he or she feel welcome to our home. Also, when they come, we will have enough food. And when they leave our house with a grateful heart, a happy mood, and even a feeling better than, even have a relationship better than before. If we are not prepared, if the house is messy, and if we don't have enough food, and if we don't really welcome them with an open heart, our guest would feel, oh, maybe these people, they didn't want us to come here. They just asked, they just invited, maybe in their heart, they didn't want us to be here. When they leave, the relationship we may had may even broken. They may not even want to come to our home. They don't want to invite us to their home back. Things like that happen when we don't prepare. And maybe younger people here, they are familiar with this SAT test, isn't it? SAT, and I call it SAT, but it's SAT, this test you take right after your school. And why do you do that? You want to show that you have enough knowledge so that you will be able to get into a good university if you score well. I know many kids prepared for that test very well. I know in New Hope School they are starting an SAT preparatory class. I think it's next week. So many of you go there in order to prepare well so that you will get a good grade when you appear for the exam. And once you have a good grade, you will be able to get into a good university or maybe get a good scholarship. But if you don't prepare, you won't be able to get any of that. Also, we do preparations for our interviews. And how many of you have taken interviews in your life to get a job? Okay, now it is better. This morning, we had only 4 people took interviews in their life. I was so puzzled. Then when I asked, why is that? Then one person told me that, who takes interviews to join a church? We just joined the church and then ever since that's our life. So no interviews. But now I know several of you took interviews. And I noticed Seth and also I didn't notice Raymond, you raised your hand up or not. But I know you were preparing for your interview. And when we prepare for our interviews, we can go and perform well, and we will be able to convey what we have in our heart and mind and get that job we wanted to get. But it's your choice. You can go there without preparation too. Then it's for sure you are not going to get that job. But most of the time we prepare and then we get that. Here, the point I want to make today is that I mentioned that this Christmas time, people all around the world, or at least devout Christians, are preparing themselves to receive baby Jesus. And the reason also that from today's reading, we notice that Jesus is someone the world was waiting for thousands of years. And also we know that even before the birth of Jesus, so many people were preparing themselves. Many kingdoms were getting ready to receive Jesus. The entire Jewish population were getting ready themselves to receive Jesus as their king. That is still going on. Still, for us, Jesus is the Messiah, the Savior, who is coming to save you, coming to give you salvation. And we have to be prepared. If we are not prepared, we are going to miss the train. We are going to miss that opportunity to get connected to Jesus. Once we are connected in heart with the Messiah, we will be able to have peace on this earth. That's what today's all songs had that theme, peace. When Jesus comes, we are going to have peace on this earth. How is that? When those prepared people meet with Messiah and understand the purpose of the Messiah and understand the purpose of our own life, peace comes to this earth automatically. With world filled with transformed people, world filled with people who are one with the Messiah, world is going to be transformed into a peaceful place. That's how we say peace is coming to this earth. That's why everyone singing songs of peace, songs of happiness. That happens only when people are prepared. Here again, I want to read a passage from Chonsan, which is from book 2, chapter 2. It says, "At the time of true parents' advent, the nations of the world were relating to each other as brothers and sisters." It is saying that at the time of true parents' coming or their advent, different countries in this world will be treating each other as brothers and sisters would treat each other in a family. Even people, that doesn't happen if people don't treat each other as brothers and sisters. So it means that when true parents come onto this earth, at the time of their advent, each and every human being on this earth will be treating each other as brothers and sisters. I mentioned about preparations in Christianity. Do we have any kind of preparations to receive Messiah in our life, especially in our church? Do we do something? Do we have something? Mr. Gimel, you said yes, no? What is that? Only he prepared, or anyone else have anything to say? You did a lot of cold shower conditions, I heard from many of you. Maybe not the young people, but I know many of you did fundraising. Many of you were spending years witnessing and doing a lot of volunteering. Why do we do that? Those were preparations to receive Messiah into our heart. Preparations for us to become better. Preparations for us to give up our fallen natures, our fallen attitudes, our fallen expectations. We did so many, way beyond more than any kind of nativity fast or any kind of Lent we did in our life. We did 7-day fasting. Some members I know, they did 21-day fasting, even 40 days fasting. So hard life. And I know so many of us did this half-day fastings for so many days. For me, those were the most tough half-day fastings. I don't know why, even more than 7-day fasting, I hated half-day fasting. Because with half-day fasting, you're not changing any of your lifestyle. You are visiting your friends and going everywhere. Then people offer you food. And then we say, oh, sorry, I can't eat now. And somehow it was tough. But why do we do that? These were our preparations. And many of you probably met with Messiah after many years of preparations. In my life, I met true parents after 9 years of our church life, or started learning principle, almost 6 years of full-time church life. And some of you maybe even more, I think some of you maybe met with true parents in the very beginning, but all these preparations you all did even after that. But we can see that when we look around, still in France, a few weeks ago, we saw that some people killed so many other people. In Syria, still war is happening. People literally killing each other. They don't see others as equal human beings. Not forget about treating as brothers and sisters. They wouldn't even see others as equal human beings who has a right to live on this earth. When I read this small passage I read from Chonsang-gyong, which is saying that at the time of true parents' advent, nations will treat each other as brothers and sisters, and as a prerequisite, when the entire humanity treat each other as brothers and sisters, Chonsang-gyong says that, but it doesn't happen. It's like a paradox. It shouldn't be that way. We should be able to have everlasting peace from this point. But it's not happening. And there may be a problem. And I think probably we did not prepare enough, or the world did not understand what they were going to receive. Even when I think about myself, I can see for sure that I did not understand fully well why I was doing so many things in my early church life, why I was going to person or shop to shop asking for donations or trying to sell some things to raise money for church. I thought, at least in the beginning, that it's just to make money for church. I don't know, all of you understood why we were doing that. And when we were witnessing, most of the time, I thought this is to increase our membership in the beginning years. But that wasn't just the goal. It was a preparation time for us. True parents gave us that time for us to be prepared well enough so that we can go to next stage of our life fully prepared. But sometimes we might be very, very busy, maybe not enough time to achieve these providential milestones we always had. So from one point to other thing, from one mission to a next mission, we transitioned to many, many different things without really reflecting back. Did I really achieve the things I was supposed to achieve? But sometimes we we were just following someone or somebody asked us to do certain things, we just did that without realizing why we were doing that. One time, I had an interesting experience. Sometime in early 2000s, I was in Indian church as a full-time member. In the morning hours, we do fundraise. Then evening, afternoon time, we go for witnessing. Then again in the evening, we again go for fundraising. And then it was an afternoon, I had to come back from fundraise, then go quickly to give an invitation to one of our former Prime Minister to attend a UPF summit in Korea. So I came back from fundraising, then I came and trying to change my shirt. Then I noticed I don't have a pressed ironed shirt. I had a washed shirt, but it's kind of all over, kind of mushed up and totally look crumbled together. But I was in big hurry, so I thought, that time it was winter time in New Delhi. In New Delhi, winter is kind of very cold. So I thought, oh, anyway, I'm going to wear a jacket about this. So let me put on this shirt and run out. So I put on that shirt without spending 5 minutes to press that, and then put on a jack coat over it and went to that Prime Minister's office. It's ex-Prime Minister, but still he has a very good office, and he always travel around, and so many people invite him for different things. And when I went to his office, his personal assistant was somehow very close to me. He always loved to talk, and then he asked me, okay, come in. And he told me that ex-Prime Minister is not there, and so I have to wait for a while. So as soon as I get into the office, something I noticed. That office is so warm. They had a nice heater, fully warm office, and I'm here with the winter coat on me, and underneath a very bad shirt. And usually as soon as people get into this kind of offices, they take off their jacket and put on a coat hanger, and I'm so embarrassed that I cannot take out that. I'm sitting there almost feeling, then he told me, oh, Manoj, there is the stand, you can take off your jacket and put it there. Then I told her, yeah, I'm okay. I feel comfortable with this jacket. But after 5 minutes, I started sweating. And I started wiping away my sweat. And then again, maybe after 20-25 minutes, my body is all over sweaty. My legs, my body, entire got totally sweat. And one thing happens when your body is really sweat and you are packed up like this, you start feeling itchy. And I started kind of scratching all over. Then finally I had to take off the jacket. Then, even after that also, I feel so insulted just because I didn't want to spend that 5 more minutes in the center and press my shirt. I could not enjoy that time, that entire almost 1.5 hours I had to spend there. Even after taking off the jacket and even after I feel comfortable, still I did not feel that because I had that bad shirt on me. I almost ruined that entire meeting time. And so many times when we don't prepare and then hope onto something else which is actually based on our preparation on the previous time, we cannot really enjoy the time, enjoy that life we are supposed to enjoy. We were doing all this fundraising and witnessing things as a preparation. There, sometimes we were so hurry, that I need to meet the goal, and then probably we did externally. But many times, our meeting people one by one, meeting different type of people in our life was a preparation for us to get into our marital life. So that when we get into that life, we will have enough experience even to accommodate a no from our spouse. Or sometimes we may not have enough money. By going through fundraising activities, we were supposed to understand that it's not always the same. If we are prepared, we will be able to understand that. Again, especially about witnessing. Our two parents even told us that you should have 3 spiritual children in order for you to receive blessing and start family. Why is that? Taking care of spiritual children and raising them up is one of the most difficult things we can imagine. And I know many times, even now also, when we have spiritual children come, they give you a time that probably they would say, we have many of our witnessing team members are going through this, Takino-san and many of them, wait for their spiritual children who agreed that they would be here at 6 p.m. on a weekday. Sometimes members, they come out from their work early, maybe take a half day off, then waiting for this person to come show up on time, then he wouldn't show up. They wouldn't even give a call. But that's an experience for us to learn that our children also going to do that the same thing when we are raising our children. Or even sometimes we may have experience with our spouse who promised something, then wouldn't do. But if we are able to learn how I can deal with such kind of situations, we will be able to have a better life when we are here in our marital life. Not only that, the world is, I'm just taking some examples from our own community life, but the world always function like that. Jumping from one thing to other things without really realizing that I was supposed to achieve something during this period. Or without even reflecting back and thinking that what was I was supposed to achieve during this period. That's why sometimes we end up in not able to enjoy our life fully well. Still we have arguments. We still hate people. We sometimes kind of hate people, hate older people, cannot get along with people of different age, cannot get along with people who are younger than us, cannot get along with people of other races, can't get along with people from other countries. All these kind of things we have because we did not really reflect back on the things, the achievements we had. Every stage in our church life, or even every stage in our life, we are supposed to go through certain developments. If that doesn't happen, we are going to be in trouble in the next stage. Recently, we had a marriage education program here, And we have around, I think 12 couples joined. And I wasn't planning to join in the beginning. But somehow, the coordinator, our Blessed Family Ministry Director, Andrea, pushed me that, Pastor Manoj, you should join for this. This is going to be very good. And this is the first program you are going to have. So you should join. And it was actually a very good program. And we had amazing food. And that was the best part. Then we had a lot of time to discuss between husband and wife and reflect upon our life. And one day during that program, until the end of our dinner, it was so nice. Then Rani asked me something or told me something. I forget what is exactly. Then I got so angry. And then rest almost 1.5 hours, I didn't talk to her. And when we look around, actually I didn't even really look around. I was so angry just sitting like this. And I was teaching her a lesson. I wanted to give her a treatment that, I want to teach her a lesson. I don't want to talk. Then, at the end of the program, I felt so ashamed when I was looking everyone. Somehow, I looked everyone very happily discussing, very enjoying everything very well. And here I am sitting as part of that, not talking to my wife, and I'm the pastor. It was kind of so insulting feeling to me. And still my anger was so much, and I didn't want to talk. But anyway, we were driving 2 cars that day. Then Rani went to her with her car, and I was driving. And then during the time I was driving, I called her, and I said sorry to her. Anyway, that day was kind of something phenomenal for me. Then from that day onwards, I decided that I'm not going to do that anymore. But my point is that we all have different kinds of things still hanging on to our life, which we were supposed to overcome years back. Even before we start our life as a marital life, we were supposed to be prepared. But here we are with this deep resentment and anger and everything. We are still going on to a higher level. One by one, we are climbing. But trying to hide those things stopping us to enjoy our life, enjoy an amazing relationship with our spouse. We could do that. But because we did not get rid of our fallen attitudes, or maybe fallen expectations, fallen behaviors, we are still not able to enjoy this life. And so many times we think nobody knows that. I'm fully covered up. Just like I went to meet that ex-prime minister, I thought nobody is going to see this. Let me just cover with this coat. Nobody is going to see my wrinkled shirt. I could cover up myself for a while. For close to half an hour, I could cover up myself. But after that, I had to open. It came out automatically. That happens in our life. Sometimes we get promoted to another thing. Even in our workplace, it can happen. Without really investing into our job enough, we talk very nicely and present ourselves very nicely, then get promoted to a higher job, then we don't know how to manage the new job. Same like that, we get promoted to so many things in our life without having enough foundation, without really trying to build enough foundation in our personal life. Then we are expecting that other people would welcome us, and it is because then we make excuses that it's because of other person. It's because of my spouse. It's because my child is bad. It's because my child never listened to me. That's why I'm not able to have a great life. It's not, children are always like that. They don't listen to anyone when they are children. That's the way children should be. If children listen to everything, that's a problem. They are children, then we are supposed to somehow entertain our children and divert their focus to something we want them to focus. That's our capacity which we are acquiring when we are in our previous life. Previous means like early years before getting into our family life. But many times that doesn't happen. But still we say, oh, that's because everyone around me, they all are bad. I am the only person who really understands the heart of God. I'm the only person who really lead a spiritual life. We make excuses like that. But here, now, we are again in this time, during this time, when the world prepared themselves to receive baby Jesus in their life. I want all of you to really think about what is that one thing, maybe more than one thing, I missed to prepare, or I missed to develop, or I still keeping in myself, which I was supposed to shed, is in me. What is that thing? That's why I'm still struggling. Not to look onto other people's life, but look into our own life so that we will be able to really receive true parents in our personal life. And this coming week, or this week, true parents are coming to our country. And this should be the biggest thing happening for America now, spiritually speaking. There is nothing more than this can happen to America if everyone understands the value of true parents. Same thing for us internally. If we understand the value of true parents completely, there wouldn't be anything in our life which is stopping us to have an amazing life. Even if our spouse is the worst person in the world, still we will be able to give up everything because our true parents ask us to make unity with them. We will be able to make amazing relationship at the cost of anything. Here, during this period, this preparatory period for Christmas, I want you to think about that deeply. Focused on your life completely. Take some time to meditate on your life every day, so that we will be prepared enough, so that even though right now the world is not completely peaceful, at one point we will be able to make this world as peaceful as we sing about Christmas and Jesus and true parents. Then only the purpose of our life the purpose of all those things we did invested in our life will be able to achieve. And I know many of you young members here, you also go through a lot of Sunday school education, a lot of training programs such as Ilshim training, and during that you do one-day fasting. Then some of you go to GPA, NGA, tough training programs. You come to Go program every Saturday, our youth ministry program. And then I know yesterday they were doing a fundraiser preparing for a fundraiser for schools of Africa. All these things we are doing in order to prepare ourselves. And take that seriously. These are not just activities just to help other people. This is to prepare ourselves to make us better and better, and every day better and better, so that our lives will be better and better every day. So that anyone look into our community, anyone look into our family, anyone look into our personal life will see that amazingly transformed life, and they will be able to see peaceful life. Few weeks before, when Reverend and Mrs. Busings stayed with us, we felt that, oh my God, how peaceful they are. What an amazing relationship they have. And by being with them, I could feel a spiritual rejuvenation, almost attending a spiritual retreat. And that's what we all can give to everyone. That's why today I want to really encourage, if there is anything stopping you to have that amazing relationship with your wife or your husband, or maybe for your children, it may be with your parents, there is something stopping, and find out that and try to overcome that. When you decide, God will help you. That baby Jesus will be with you to help you. And the prayer of true parents will be with you, so that we can victoriously sing. With confidence we can sing. With real gladness within us, we can sing that peace is here. Peace on this earth is happening. And this is within our life. Let us really make that. And thank you so much for listening to me. Have a wonderful December for all of you. Thank you.